Well, with me right now is Mary Navarro, and Mary is running for the Orange County Board of Education, the 5th District, which is pretty much South Orange County. So welcome. I am pleased to have you on here today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity, and good morning, Laguna Woods and the villages.
Yeah, it's great. Well, as someone who has a child that is in the 6th grade and a wife who teaches 5th grade, this is important to me as well. So let's first get to know you. What is your background and why are you running for the Orange County Board of Education position?
Well, I am a 3rd generation California educator. My mother and grandmother were some of the first female principals in our state, and I'm very proud of that. So this is part of my legacy. I would say education is in my DNA, and I'm still doing a lot of education. I participated in the emeritus over here at Saddleback, and I enjoyed taking art classes there. So I believe in lifelong learning, where if you're not learning, you're not living. So,
that's true.
But my career began in San Jose. I was teaching English in the cannery to many of the field workers and to all of the farmers and the kids in the community. And that led me to follow in my family's footsteps of being a teacher. So I've been a principal, I've been a classroom teacher from 7th grade to junior college, and I've taught English and drama and speech and debate. And so and all of those were fun years. And then I wanted to do more, so I got my master's in education and became a principal. I've been a principal at all the different grade levels, including charter schools.
In this area here?
Not here.
Okay.
I retired here.
Oh, that's right. You said you were up in Sacramento.
Yes,
Yeah,
I moved to Sacramento, and so most of my career was in Sacramento in the San Jose area. And so after 38 years, I was assistant superintendent in a large urban school district like Sacramento with 93 schools, 63,000 students, and a smaller, more rural, but that was at Scotts Valley. You may know Scotts Valley.
I know
It's
Scotts Valley,
it's
yes.
just outside of San Jose. So I've done.
It's where Santa's Village used to be.
It's where
Remember
Santa's
that?
Village used to be. So I've had the full spectrum, and even currently now I'm coaching new administrators through the County Office of Education as they receive their master's program. So I've been in it my whole life. I'll be in it till the day I die.
So what are some of your top concerns and reasonings for wanting to be on the board?
Well, I would say what prompted me, I was happily retired and sitting on the beach, and then Betsy DeVos cut our national education budget by $9 billion. And she's also wanting to cut before and after school programs and free and reduced lunch. And having worked in low-income communities, I know how important those services are. So that was the lightning bolt that kind of hit me and said, okay, get back into your suit. So I jumped back into my high heels and suit and decided I would run. I've had really great supporters like Susie Schwartz and the California Teachers Association who've endorsed me, and so has the classified staff has endorsed me. So I decided that we need somebody who really knows how to ask the right questions, what the right questions are, because you really have walked in those shoes. So I've spent decades doing that, and so I feel capable and competent to stand sentinel for public education.
All right, let's talk about a couple things and a couple issues. One of them, and we were talking about this right before we went on, is the per child funding and how it varies depending where the district they're in, the school they're in, and so on. And some people might say, well, why not pay the same amount for every child in the state? And in some cases, there are areas throughout the state, I think even in Orange County here, that are still considered kind of a rural agricultural district, even though they aren't anymore. So what's your take on that? Should it be even across the board? And then if a certain district or school needs extra funding for some reason, what's your take on that?
Well, first of all, let me start out by saying California is the 5th largest economy in the world, right after Great Britain. And we are funding our schools 46th in the nation. So ADA, average daily attendance, is how schools and districts get their money, and it's always based upon the previous year. So we are currently experiencing declining enrollment for a couple of reasons. people are having smaller families, and the cost of living in Orange County is so high. So we're experiencing declining enrollment. So that means schools aren't getting as much money as they used to because they have fewer students. However, our students have greater needs now more than ever. So I do believe we need to have some kind of a sliding scale, if you will. What we do is we have limited budgetings for certain populations. So poor, we take care of foster youth, we take care of the homeless youth, we take care of low-income youth. We take care of all children. That's what public schools do. They welcome all children. So the funding is really decided by voters. The Prop 13, when I first started teaching, meant that I got a pink slip for 10 years before I ever got, it was tenure that finally gave me some security and safety. But we do have funding for minority populations, for low income, for special ed, and they do need more services. That's not to say that you know, the average child isn't getting their services, but by pooling all that money together, we can give better services to all students, even the most needy of students.
Okay, another big topic, and we've heard about this really across the country, but obviously we're talking about your district in this area that you hope to be a part of, are charter schools.
Yes.
And we can explain what charter schools are. A couple around here people have certainly heard of is Oxford. That's one. The Orange County School of the Arts, which is up in Santa Ana. That's a little bit different because you have to apply to get into there with the others. It's a school, it becomes a school of choice.
Yes.
So explain, if people don't know, what a charter school is and your position on those.
There's dependent and independent charters. Dependent charters are authorized by the district or by the county. So the performing arts school that you're talking about is authorized by the county, like Samuel Ellie, which is a school for foster youth. So they're authorized, and that means they're overseen by program and financial funding to make sure that the tax dollars that are going for those children are being spent appropriately. Likewise, we have some charters that are in our school district.
Right.
My concern is I'm not a fan of for-profit charters. As soon as we start making our students a profit center or a market, I have grave concerns. So I think charters, I've been a principal of a charter school. I know what that is like, and the purpose of the charter is to meet a need that isn't being met by the district. So to just come in and have, I know people want choice, but we have really great schools. We have some of the best schools. We're serving almost 500,000 students here in Orange County, and we just got 48 more distinguished schools identified in Orange County. And people may not know this, but Orange County is the 3rd largest county in California, the 6th largest county in the nation. And so we do have a lot of diversity, and it's really interesting that people want to change so much of public education. Charters have always been a part of public education. This attitude of making it controversial or competitive, I don't think is healthy for anybody. I think we need to have schools that meet children's needs, and children's have many diverse needs.
Okay, and just so people know, charter schools like Oxford is a good example. The money sort of follows the child to the charter school rather than the district. It is part of the district, but money goes
and right now there's a little scandal with the Oxford charter right now. And
and the only reason I'm saying them, that's nothing for or against them. People hear of them.
Yes.
And it's just a name people know of.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that I don't want to get anything about them. It's just people know of them, and there's many other charter schools.
The problem with some of the for-profit charters is they can take taxpayers' dollars, like you say, the money follows the child to the school. What I'm concerned about is when those for-profit charters wrap their charter in an LLC, you're no longer able to see where that money is going. And in many cases, not all, there have been fraud and misappropriation of funds and some abuses of our tax dollars. So I think it's really important that charter schools do what public schools do. They have to be held accountable by an elected board. We have to be able to see their funding and make sure the money is going directly to the children and not going to, you know, some founder or board that isn't really providing instruction to the students.
Okay, another thing along that is homeschooling, and I know the Capital District, and I think and Saddleback has started this up as well, is doing sort of an online program. The student, we're talking about elementary here, goes into a particular school maybe once a week for a couple hours, you know, so the sort of the teacher that is overseeing that looks at their work, and it's usually, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of times K through 8. In some cases, it's even K through 12. But what's your take on that?
Well, one of the charters that I worked for was that I ran was exactly one of those schools. We had like science where most parents don't have a lab that they can do appropriate science experiments. So we called students in for specific lessons, but much of their work was done independently and then overseen by their parents. So I think that is one of the choices. That's not a choice for every child. I know my children. I have a 30-year-old who has graduated from Harvard and Stanford, and he loved school. He wanted to be with people. But there are children who are doing other things. I know the Capo charter had one of the students who was on the Olympic ice skating team. So that's a way for them to get their education. So there are many pathways to success, and that's what public education needs to provide.
Okay, now one other topic is the California Healthy Youth Act, which in another sense could be called sex education in a way. You know, the name kind of changed, it's morphed and things. But what does it mean to the schools, in your view, and to the students?
I really, I'm going to respectfully decline that statement about sex education, where that is not what it is. It is health and sexual reproductive education. So I think when people hear sex education, they think, oh my gosh, what are we teaching kids? Well, we are human beings, and we have a body, and we have emotional experiences, and that's part of education. So the California Healthy Youth Act evolved about 2 years ago, and now it is law that we have to provide instruction to students. What I think is really great is the curriculum is available at the district office. Go down and look at the curriculum. Please don't listen to some of the rumors and misinformation that's being propagated out in social media. You have the right to see the curriculum. Please go see it. I think the other thing too is if you feel like your child is not ready for that, you have the option to opt out. So again, we have choices, but I think it's still very important. I was a middle school and a high school teacher, and we have reduced the number of teen pregnancies, HIV, and sexually transmitted disease because kids have information. And when you know more, you do better.
All right, very good. If people want to find out more about Mary, speaking of knowing more, you can go to votemarynavarro.com, and you can find out more information about her there. Of course, the primary election is coming up in June, but you're on that ballot.
Yes, and mine is one and done on June. This is not like we're doing a primary. I'd like to also invite the audience to go, when you go to my website, my son did a wonderful thing for my 65th birthday. He made a video for my campaign, and it was just such a delightful gift, and it's just, he's my joy, so I really want to share that with your your audience.
That's great.
So
that's good. You can be the proud mom.
I can.
All right, very good. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and we'll be right back.